The second form of interest is the compound interest. Compound interest is also known as accumulated interest. Simple interest over 2 years, we simply calculate it at the end of the 2 years. Whereas the compound interest in 2 years, it keeps on accumulating given the rate per year. What do we do therefore? We say compound interest will say that the amount of money at the end of a given time, let me call it small n, is equal to the principal into 1 plus the rate over 100 to the power of the number of years. In case you don't want to go with the formula, then you can calculate the compound interest using the formula of simple interest, but what becomes the amount at the end of the first year becomes your principal at the beginning of the second year. Let's try out a question and see. What you shouldn't forget, that in each case, in both cases, the amount of money at the end of the given period is still the same. Amount of money is equal to the principal plus the interest. Let us go live and try out a question. Kindly get your pen and your book and we try out a question. Let's write. The question says, I want you to get me 2 names. I'm going to use Okello and Nambi. Let us write question number 1. Okello and Nambi deposited shillings 600,000 each in a bank. Full stop. Okello opted for a compound interest account and Nambi opted for a simple interest account. Opted for a simple interest account. Full stop. Both accounts give a rate of 12% per annum. Both accounts give an interest rate of 12% per annum. The question is, calculate part A, who gets more money after 2 years. After 2 years. And part B, what is the difference? What is the difference between the amount each has after 2 years? What is the difference in the amount each has after 2 years? Now, my dear students, I want you to write down the question systematically as I explain how we are going to do the question. The question says that Okello opted for a compound interest account, which means that the principal is 600,000, The rate is 12%, and the amount of time is 2 years. So we're going to say that amount is equal to principal into brackets 1 plus rate over 100, everything to the power of n, which is the number of years. On the other hand, NAMB opted for a simple interest account, which means for the sake of NAMB, we'll say that interest is equal to principal times time times rate, everything divided by 100. The answers we get in each of them for the amount is what we have for part A. The difference, you subtract the bigger one minus the smaller one, is the answer for part B. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. We begin with NAMB. NAMB. The principal is 600,000. The interest rate is 12, and the period of time is 2 years. We're saying from interest is equal to principal times time times rate over 100. This becomes 600,000 times 2 times 12 over 100. And the answer we obtain in that case is going to be 144,000. Now I want to rectify something. There are students who are going to comfortably put this to mean shillings. This does not mean shillings. This means only. So in mathematics, you write that. We will not assume you are counting money. It is important that you write SH for shillings in mathematics. Let's also look at what happens to Okello. Again, on NAMB, the amount of money that NAMB has is equal to principal plus interest, which is 600,000 plus 144,000, and that gives us shillings 744,000. Also, looking at Okello's account, we are saying that the principal is 600,000, the rate is 12, and the time is n equals 2. So we say from amount is equal to principal into 1 plus the rate divided by 100, everything to the power of n, we will say that the amount that Okello has is equal to 600,000 into 1 plus 12 over 100, everything to the power of 2, which in this case is going to be 600,000 into 1.12 squared. 600,000 into 1.12 squared will give us an answer of 700. So we say this is therefore equals to shillings 752,640 shillings. My dear sons and daughters, following from this calculation, I think now you know which account will fetch you more money. Supposing you wanted to begin saving today, it is that therefore better for you to save in a compound interest account rather than saving in a simple interest account, because the compound interest account will give you more money than the simple interest account. So the answer for part A is therefore Okello has shillings 752,640 at the end of the 2 years, and NAMB has shillings 744,000 200,000 at the end of the 2 years. Part B was, by what difference is their money? Simply subtract Okello's money minus Nambi's money, and that is the difference of their money. So today, go and begin saving. I want to encourage you, begin saving. But as you look for an account to open, it is better a fixed account because it gives you a compound interest rate. Ladies and gentlemen, what if, I want to ask this also. What if the question was, write down, question number 2. Question number 2. Let's write and say, Stephen deposited shillings 200,000 in an account that gives a compound interest of 15% per annum. Full stop. Calculate how long it takes his money to accumulate how long it takes his money to accumulate to shillings 264,500 shillings. Good. So, my dear friends, I want you to look at this question and start working. Begin to work as I tell you what to do. What are we going to do in this case? This is what we're going to do. We're going to say, because it is a compound interest account where the principal is 200,000, the rate is 15%, and the amount is 264,500 shillings, we will therefore say that using amount is equal to principal into 1 plus the rate over 100, everything to the power of n. We will say therefore 264,500 is equal to 200,000 into 1 plus 15 over 100, and everything to the power of n. So what are we doing therefore in this case? We want to make n the subject of the formula, and that will be the amount of time it takes this guy's money to accumulate from 200,000 to 264,500, such that in future when you are banking your money with compound interest, you can estimate the amount of time you need so that you can harvest very good money. So that means we're going to have 264,500 is equal to 200,000 into 1.15 to the power of n. When I divide either sides by 200,000, when I divide this side by 200,000 and this side also by 200,000, this is going to cancel with that. So that means I'll be left with 1.15 to the power of n is equal to 264,500 divided by 200,000. Now that the letter we want to make the subject is in the power, what do? You apply logarithms to the base 10 of either sides. And in this case, applying logarithm to the base 10 on either side, we're going to say therefore that the log of 1.15 power n is equal to the log of 264,500 over 200,000. Whereby, according to the laws of logarithm, this n is going to drop downwards. When the n drops downwards, you will be left with n times the log of 1.15 is equal to the log of 264,500 over 200,000. Very good. So in order to get the value of n, I'm going to divide both sides. I'm going to divide both sides by log of 1.15. This side also by log of 1.15. My dear children, there are people who will be attempted to say this the same as log of this minus log of this, or this the same as log of this minus log. No, it is not true. Simply get your calculator and feed in this thing the way it is. Feed in that thing the way it is and obtain your answer. In this case, it is going to give us the value of n. It is going to give us the value of n as 2. So we conclude and say, therefore it takes 2 years. Therefore, it takes 2 years. My dear sons and daughters, in case there are any queries on this, feel free to call the number that I will give you later on as I wind up. But as per now, allow me to look at what we call hire purchase. So, kindly write a subheading. Kindly write a subheading as hire purchase. Amazingly, I have met with people who confuse this word hire purchase. Hire purchase does not mean you are hiring. Hire purchase means you are buying, but you are buying in a much simplified way. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to a shop that sells dress tops when you don't have the money? And when you get there, they actually tell you money you can afford. But because you walked with your 5,000 and they said the dress top is 20,000, you decide to leave 5,000 behind. And the shopkeeper says, okay, feel free to bring the balance in simple bits. It doesn't mean you've hired the dress. You have actually bought the dress, but you are buying it more expensive as compared to if you had paid the 20,000 on cash. I know, my sons, also, maybe you admired a phone on display and they told you the phone was 200,000, but in your pocket you only had 30,000. That is your deposit. Pay the deposit and pay the balance later in simple bits that you can manage. That is what we call buying by hire purchase. Let me give a live example. One day, I was reading a newspaper and I came across this advert. The advert was buy while stock lasts. And they said Samsung phones on sale. Now, down there, they said that cash terms, in the advert, they said cash terms is shillings 800,000, according to the advert I saw in the newspaper. But then they also said that when you buy by cash, will give you a cash discount. And the cash discount given was 5%, of the cash terms. But they also gave a second option and said, however, if you don't have all the money, if you don't have all the 800,000, feel free to also buy the phone on hire purchase. And then they said, but if you're buying it on hire purchase, then you come and pay a deposit of 40% of the cash value, of the cash price. After you have paid your 40%, then you can either pay the balance weekly by paying shillings 53,000, by paying shillings 53,000 per week for 10 weeks, per week for 10 weeks, or in case you can manage monthly, then you can opt and buy the phone on monthly hire purchase by paying shillings 140,000, by paying shillings 140,000 per month for 4 months. Good. I came across that advert. You know, it caught my attention because I also needed a phone. But in that time, I didn't have a phone that I could actually boast around with among my friends. So I said, I'll go for it. I sat down on paper and thought of how can I get this phone for myself. Of course, the 40% I had, but the 800,000 I did not have. So I said, I'll go for weekly. Maybe for you, you would have gone for monthly. I want us to calculate and we see who of you and me would have paid more money. If you went for weekly and I went for monthly, another person pays it cash and is given this discount, who is saving more money? So that you can appreciate, because these things are living with us. You need to learn how to calculate your money before you spend it. Okay, my dear sons and daughters, there we are. The question is, the following advert was in the newspaper. Part A, calculate how much money Opio would save if he bought the phone by cash rather than weekly hire purchase. Calculate how much money Opio would save if he paid cash rather than weekly hire purchase. And then part B, I also want us to look at calculate how much Stella would save by buying the phone on weekly hire purchase rather than monthly hire purchase. Let me assume you are through with writing down the question, and then let us go to the mathematics, such that at the end of this you can know how to spend your money without making serious losses. Okay, part A is, supposing Okello actually bought the phone on cash price, how much money would we have saved rather than buying it on weekly hire purchase? Let's begin with cash. Part A, cash. The discount the Samsung shop gives is 5% of the cash terms. So we said discount is 5 over 100 times 800,000. And the discount in that case is going to be shillings 40,000. So that means in this case, Okello, in this case, he was supposed to pay, or he paid less by 40,000. So he paid shillings 800,000 minus shillings 40,000. In other words, he paid shillings 760,000. So if this guy bought it on cash, this is how much he paid, 610,000. What if he paid it on weekly hire purchase? What was supposed to be the amount of money he paid? This is what we do. We've said that on hire purchase, bi-weekly hire purchase, we say that this man has to pay a deposit of 40% of 800,000. And 40% is 40 over 100 times 800,000. And when you press your calculator, 40 over 100 times 800,000 will give you shillings 320,000. So that means the initial money this man had to pay that day went for window shopping was 320,000. And then they told him, now per week you're going to pay 53,000, but make sure you pay it for 10 weeks. So the installments he will pay, the installments are going to be shillings 53,000 multiplied by 10. When you multiply 53,000 by 10, it means that he is paying 530,000. So that means the total amount of money he would have paid before they hand over his Samsung phone is going to be, let's say, therefore he paid, allow me erase this. Therefore, he paid shillings. The first one was 320,000 deposit plus shillings 530,000. When you add up the two, it means he paid shillings 850,000. So my dear sons and daughters, I want you to appreciate that paying 850,000 at your convenience and paying 760,000 on cash, which one are you going to go for? When you go for this, you will save some money. When you go for this, you will pay it at leisure fare until you finish. Let us find out how much money was supposed to be saved. So we will say therefore that the savings that would be made would be subtract this minus this. So it would be shillings 850,000 minus shillings 760,000, which is going to give us shillings 90,000. Okello would have saved 90,000 to buy something else, but because he didn't have the money, this money by cash, he had to go for this. Therefore, he incurred this more money. I hope you got the same answer. I want us to go as slow as we can, such that you can appreciate that money has value. So as you're spending it, better spend it wisely. Welcome back from the short break, my dear students. We ended on part A, and part B was supposing Stella bought the same phone. But Stella could not manage paying the balance per week. But at least Stella was sure at the end of every month when she gets her salary, she can go and do her deposits. We also want to find out, supposing Stella bought the phone by monthly hire purchase, how much money was she supposed to pay? Look here. We are looking at monthly hire purchase. Do not forget, we said that the deposit was 40%, and we calculated that the deposit was 320,000. But the installments, we calculated deposit, and we got shillings 320,000. But the deposits, the installments, we said, is supposed to pay shillings 140,000 per month for the next 4 months. So it would be shillings 140,000 times 4. When you multiply 140,000 times 4, you are going to obtain shillings 560,000. So that means the total amount of money that Stella paid was the deposit of 320,000 plus the installments of 560,000. So that gives us shillings 320,000 plus shillings 560,000, which is gonna give us shillings 880,000. So that means, for the sake of Stella, instead of paying 760,000 at cash, she had to pay 880,000 to buy the phone. Let us calculate and see how much loss Stella made. I don't want you to make the same loss. You may need to buy a watch, you may need to buy a phone, you may need to buy a shoe, or even a dress top, or even a pan. What do you do? Let's see. Stella's savings, if she had rather gone for weekly hire purchase, would be this 880,000 minus 850,000 shillings, 880,000 minus weekly hire purchase, we got 850,000. So the difference is shillings 30,000, which means Stella opting to buy the phone by paying a deposit of 320,000 and thereafter paying a monthly deposit of monthly installment of 140,000. She ended up paying 30,000 more than Okello paid. So you can now notice, if you want to buy a product by hire purchase, you need to know which one to go for. Do not pay until you have calculated how much money it is going to cost you. My dear sons and daughters, this is mathematics in practice. Let me give you one question for you to try. You write down this one question and try it on your own and give me an answer thereafter. Write in your book, question number 2. Question number 2. Write and say, the following advert was at a car bond, and the advert runs like this: used Japanese saloon cars on sale. Used Japanese cars on sale. Cash, 18.5 million. Cash discount is 8% of the cash price. 8% of cash price. However, you could also opt for higher purchase. And higher purchase, deposit, the deposit you are supposed to pay is 30% of the cash price, and thereafter you pay monthly installments of 1.055 millions per month for 10 months. Monthly hire purchase installments are 1.055 millions per month for 10 months. Let's copy down the question. The question is, Mr. Abaho bought a saloon car from the bond on hire purchase. Calculate how much money he would have saved if he had bought the car by cash price. The question is, Mr. Abaho bought a car at hire purchase. Calculate how much he would have saved. Calculate how much he would have saved if he had paid cash. If he had paid cash. My dear beloved students, I want you to begin working out this as I write part B. And part B says, if the cost price of the car was 8 millions, calculate the dealer's percentage profit on Mr. Abaho. If the dealer's cost price was shillings 8 million, comma, calculate the percentage profit he made on Mr. Abaho. Calculate the percentage profit he made from Mr. Abaho. Aha. So there is the question again, my dear students. Tomorrow you will want to buy a car on hire purchase. But before you buy it on hire purchase, you have to walk in a number of carbons around Kampala or elsewhere, such that you can know where are you buying the car cheaper on hire purchase. In this case, instead of paying cash and you are given a discount of 8%, he went for hire purchase. That means he paid 30% discount, and after paying 30% discount, he paid after every month. When he received his salary, he had to pay 1.055 million every month for the next 10 months. So you add up his total installments for 10 months to the amount of money he paid as deposit, and then you will know how much it costed him to buy the car. Supposing the person dealing, supposing the person dealing bought the car from Japan at 8 million to Uganda, and he sold this car to Mr. Abaho, how much profit would he make? And after you've known the profit, how much percentage profit would he make? That is what I want us to calculate right now. What do we do in that case? This is what we do. So what you're going to do, step number 1, find out how much the 8% was. And the 8% in this case part A will say the discount that is given to people who come with cash is 8%, which is 8 over 100 times 18.5 million, which is going to give us 8 over 100 times 18.5 million. So this is going to give us 1.48 millions. My dear friends, if you don't want to write if you don't want to write the word million there, you better write 1,480,000. If you just write 1.48 without this word million, and then the money is counted in millions, your working is wrong. Good. So after he has enjoyed this discount, how much would he have paid therefore? So we'll say that the amount paid by cash is going to be shillings 18.5 millions minus 1.48 millions. 18.5 millions minus 1.48 millions. It means that he paid shillings 17.02 millions. What does that mean, my beloved children? It means that if Abaho had 17.02 millions, which is the same as 17,020,000, he would go away with the car. But because Abaho did not have this money on the day he went for window shopping, they told him to pay a deposit of 30% and wait after he has been paid salary at the end of every month. He brings 1.055 millions per month so that he can be given the car. Let's calculate how much money he would how much money he actually paid when he bought the car on hire purchase. So we're going to say therefore on hire purchase, the deposit paid on hire purchase, the deposit he paid was 30% of 18.5. So it becomes 30 over 100 times 18.5, which gives us 5.55 millions. I said if you do not want to write the word millions, you better write 5,550,000 shillings. So he paid. That means on the day that Abaho went to the bond to do window shopping, he had this money on him, so he paid the money. When he paid the money, they told him, okay, so at the end of every month, you're going to be bringing us a monthly installment of 1.055 millions for the next 10 months. Of your sitting rooms. We want to obtain how much money would Mr. Abaho would have actually saved if he had paid for the car on cash rather than buying the car on hire purchase. I've seen there is something that I want you to go back and correct in the question. The monthly installments were supposed to be 1.4 millions. So cross out 1.055 million, cross out this and write this, so that for 10 months, so that we can say, therefore the monthly installments would be shillings 1.4 times 10, which would give us shillings 14 million. Now Abaho paid 5.55 million as deposit, and he has also paid 14 million as installments. We want to find out how much money altogether has Mr. Abaho paid, and this is what you do. We will say therefore that Mr. Abaho in this case paid shillings deposit plus installment, which is 5.55 plus 14. When you add 5.55 to 14, you're going to have shillings 19.55 million shillings. So that means Mr. Abaho, instead of paying 17.02 million, he ended up paying 19.55 million. How much money would he have saved? We would say this man would have saved shillings 19.55 million minus shillings 17.02 millions. 19.55 million minus 17.02 millions. That means Mr. Abaho's savings would have been shillings 2.53 millions. Therefore, Mr. Abaho's savings was supposed to be 2,530,000 shillings. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to base on the facts that we are looking at here so that you can always advise yourself financially. Because the world we are living in, you must be very good and disciplined at how you manage your finances. Don't pay for things more expensively, yet you could get better quality or the same quality at a much cheaper rate. My dear friends, I want to adjourn this lesson from here for the interest of time, and then the next time we'll pick up from taxation. Therefore, after you've calculated your part B, I want you to leave a heading taxation. The next time we meet, we shall be doing taxation. Thank you so much for watching UBC Television, your national broadcaster. I remain Stephen Musisi, a teacher of mathematics and chemistry at St. Mary's College, Subi, what you commonly call as SMAC. When you get any problem, do not hesitate to reach me on my WhatsApp number 0785 034 345. Make a call and I'll be able to answer your queries. Thank you. Keep at home, stay safe. Do not contract coronavirus.